So online is a global housing problem. Majority cells uh, find the efficiency of PD-L1 treatment in improving cell patient survival or may not respond to PD-L1 on the therapy. Traditional research cells of biomarkers, but according to a finding that human expression specific cell genes predict better outcomes in PD-L1 therapy. Also, the problems that our inhibitors, let's say, cells, but that so the objective of study is to understand all of this in human also and the last on that is single cell RNA sequencing or compared with single cell further or sequencing at the level of individual cells and results individual cells. And the fourth step is cell separation using chips to break down passive tissues into cell separations and then those micro to every single cells and capture them into response pool. And then cell side and remote translation with DNA cross translation become introduced in a in a micro biology in each cells. Then study and sequencing and data analysis. All information protein level of using based on the goals, the expected outcome is high levels of tumor plasma cells according to the survival in patients treated with PD-L1 and can be some of prognostic methods or more information. So, about say, you can hear your voice. Maybe you should use real microphone, right? Okay. This is the microphone.
Maybe.
Huh?
Then drop down.
Another one. Maybe you should pick some way. Oh. And then you should mute and open mute. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Whether you can hear all voice. If you're on. So you hello. Hello. You hear this? Okay, let's go. Can you follow? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Hold on. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Good. 打电脑。打电脑。
Let's continue. Let's continue.
Yeah, method. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
Together.
This refers to single cell sequencing. The both step is use trypsin to break down the constitution and sure. Yours? Because
把你的话，把你的话，
你的分离换了。对，但是你的对它
use trypsin to break down the constitution and into cell separation, and then use microfluorescent chips to separate single cell and convert them into separate reaction groups. And then also effect and ion structure, reverse transcription, synthesizing DNA. Well, reverse transcription biocode can be able to identify RNA in rich cells. Unlike basic application, level construction, sequencing, data analysis, and the full combination can add to the protein level to cell control. Based on the expected outcome is high levels of intratumoral plasma cells are closely related to longer survival in patients treated with PD-L1 and can serve as prognostic markers for new immune checkpoint inhibitor therapy. Question. Any question from lecturers? Read it about the briefing. Any question?
Can we see slide 2 again?
And this
Yeah. So, so what is the biomarker in this study?
plasma cells.
Okay.
Plasma cells.
Plasma cell.
Yeah. In plasma cells.
The expected outcome of this study. Can you show the expected outcomes that can you show the objective? So for this, we are going to measure the plasma cell.
Yeah.
Uh,
For previous study is that the cell can prevent better outcomes, and the plasma cells are essentially broken cells, and the reduction and separation of antibodies or antibodies that separate from the cells may um, mean specific recognize specific antigens, which means if they can be tumor specific markers.
So I'm still not clear on the biomarker you are measuring or quantify in this proposal. Is it the B cell gene? Because in the expected outcome, you mentioned about the plasma cell. However, the introduction, you say B cell gene can predict outcome.
For plasma cells, drastic from the cell. The cells more specific. And all of these stage of biomarkers. Some cells can be more spread.
So, which topic do you choose? Is it proteomics or RNA based or DNA based or transcriptomics? Yeah, because you know, not like that.
We have competitors in the web here. So complete.
Uh, is this using?
Yes. Sometimes like that.
No, it's not.
No, it's connected. Now it's not connected.
Ini. Hello, anyone want to make some noise? Test the speaker. Anyone speak?
See the chat room. See the chat.
Nothing inside you.
No, the connection is fine. What was?
Take down. Answer the question.
Yeah, it's very clear. But this one not. Yeah, it's working already.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Because the day, it's not functioning.
The pen already.
But this one not.
No. 好放开的吗？会不会很小？是啊。Okay, really everyone, this is the first studies and the discovery of the lysosomal fibrillar RNA as an acid molecule for the corneal disease. Okay.
产品吗？叫产品吗？
Okay. Okay, now look at this image also from the WHO. We can see that the cardiovascular disease is the hormones and the world's number one killer. So it's every year we have 20.5 million of life is lost due to this disease. They have about 33% of all global death, and then with more over 75% occurring in the low and middle income countries. So today, we focus on the coronary artery disease, one of the common type of the cardiovascular disease. Apart from its health impacts, actually the coronary artery disease pose a very substantial economic burdens to the national healthcare system due to the late diagnosis and also the severe complications. As all we know, coronary angiography is the gold standard, established gold standard for the CAA detections. However, this method very expensive and also requiring anesthesia. So, and also the contrast agent used is have a multiple side effect to the patient. Therefore, clinicians and researchers seek non-invasive technology for the infections. Molecular diagnostic offer promise in the identifying a new CAD biomarker like the tiny molecule with a distinct signature in the reservoir functions. The research focus is on exploring the potential of exosomal circular RNA as a diagnostic biomarker for CAD. The general objective of this study is to identify and validate distinct exosomal circular RNA with a special attention to the promising candidate, such as a CIRC 005540 as a potential non-invasive diagnostic tool for CAD. The specific objective of the study is to investigate and compare the expression level of the exosomal circular RNA using RNA sequencing in CAD patient and control. To validate and identify circular RNA in two independent cohorts using the quantitative real-time RT-PCR. To assess the diagnostic potential of exosomal circular RNA considering Birmingham. Okay, next we explore the methodology. Okay, first we focus on the sample collections to form the study cohort for this study. A group of sample consists of CAD patients and non-CAD controls is being collected at Center 1 for profiling and internal validations, while another group of the samples is collected at Center 2 for the external validations. Next, we move for the exosomal RNA isolations. This has been carried out using the exo RNPC kits to extract the targeted RNA. Next, moving to the exosomal circular RNA sequence analysis. The researcher performed the circular RNA profiling in the circulating exosome from the CAD patient and non-CAD control using the Illumina assay 2500. Moving forward, the statistical analysis involved the internal validations of actually expressed levels of RNA, including the technical and biological variations of exosomal circular RNA from the screening stage by using the quantitative real-time RT-PCR. Additionally, the external validations of the differentially expressed exosomal circular RNA has been carried out to further explore the effectivity of this exosomal circular RNA as a potential diagnostic biomarker for CAD. So after the internal validations and the external validations, the researchers access the exosomal HFA CIRC 000550 for all study individuals. So they also explore the correlations with the Birmingham Heart study in this sector. So these figures will offer the insights into the exosomal circular RNA profiling. As you can see from the left figure, it's can show there's a very clear difference differential expressions in the CAD patients compared to the non-CAD control. Then the right-hand side is the panel plot. Indicated text there is a statistical significance of differential expressed circular RNA and identified 325 circular RNA sites. So including the 174 upregulated and 191 downregulated. Okay, then after we confirm the expressions of the circular RNA, these three WRA has been selected to go further for internal validations cohort. So as you can see from this image, for the A RNA, you can see that show the very significant allegations of level of the level of the RNA in the CAD patient compared to the non-CAD patient. Then to the B means that they also show a very significant increase in the level compared to inside the CAD patient compared to the non-CAD control. However, the C is show no significant difference between two groups. And to further extend the validations of this level of accessible RNA, the researchers also conduct the external validation by PCR in the second cohort. So you can see that from this picture, only the first one shows the significant allegations in the stable patient compared to the non-stable patients, while B and C shows no significantly increase. So at the end, so after they only apply to using this HFA 005540 and in all study groups, then they assess the level of this RNA and found that there is also a significant increase in the CAD patients compared to the non-CAD control. Then on the right figure is ROC curve analysis of HFA CRRC 005540 conjunction with the Wellington Heart Study risk factor. This risk factor, this graph actually demonstrate that we have a very high discriminate powers for the CAD in this ROC analysis. Hence, the suggested that it's a very good, have a good potential as anything answer. So expected outcome for this study is this biomarker discovery, particularly the allegations of the HFA CRRC 005540 in circulating assessment. Let's say the differentiations of the coronary artery disease patient from the non-CAD control. So this marker has the potential to be a non-invasive blood test for heart conditions, offering a promising way to improve the diagnostic method and reduce the need for an invasive procedure. So this is the milestone for study as well as the RNA, and this is the main reference. And thank you for your time.
Thank you for your
This is the book.
For this presentation, we not include any result. They are like focus with the music and of course it's always okay. From the lecturers and also from your question, if you have questions, can ask.
Miss Yao, I'm wondering if your objective has been achieved since you have all the results.
Yes, they already identified this after the these investigated CRR in the middle is the one.
So why you want to conduct the study again?
Sorry?
Why you are proposing to conduct the study?
I don't know. I propose to my agree.
Thank you.
I think can be applied, can use the same way to apply on the others about potential biomarker.
Thank you.
What's not almost after state.
So for this, it will be liquid biopsy, right?
No, from the not from the biopsy. That's why they emphasize the non-invasive is from the blood.
Yeah.
And personal is from any like body fluid, blood, saliva, or even urine.
So be PCR based method.
At first they are using the IRC to get the following that after that for the diagnosis, I think yes, it's limited.
So, my question here, so what is statistics that both internet at the moment? What for experimental? What is your proposed diagnostic, essay? To see the diagnostic for your laboratory.
Biết trả này, cái chiến lược sẽ không có làm cho nó sẽ tự ra mất cái một cái sự nghiệp tinh thì vẫn sẽ bỏ cái khu đạo si là cái biên sẽ đến với bạn.
So next question.
Không có họ học tiếp được.
So everyone, can you see my screen
Yes.
from the online? Thank you. So good evening, everyone. I'm also my mentor, Dr. Nurul. Today I'm sharing with you a topic regarding this slide is not me, sorry, technical error. So today I'll be sharing my topic with you, which is regarding Parkinson's disease. Okay, so Parkinson's disease is the second common neurodegenerative disorder. It is characterized by tremor and impact on muscular coordination. To date, there are more than 10 million of active cases of Parkinson's disease worldwide. The early diagnosis of Parkinson's disease is very important, as it can slow the progression of Parkinson's disease and also help patients to live a longer, productive, and more meaningful life. However, current diagnosis of Parkinson's disease heavily depend on two techniques, which are neuroimaging or clinical observations of the signs and symptoms, which are clinical features. These two techniques are either costly or suboptimal for early diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. Hence, today I'll be sharing with you the title, which is to discover a potential biomarker for diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, which we are looking at tau protein majorly. Okay? There are multiple factors that can cause Parkinson's disease, and all of these factors as shown in the slide can cause elevation of and accumulation of Lewy body and alpha-synuclein within the brain. This will lead to neuronal cell damage and eventually cell death. And eventually you can see Parkinson's disease in a clinical manifestation. Lewy body is a hallmark of Parkinson's disease, as it can it's characterized by pathological protein aggregates within the brain, and within Lewy body there is an alpha-synuclein protein. Okay. Alpha-synuclein has already been extensively studied. However, because due to it is very easily detectable in different types of myeloid, and it is consistent with pathological basis of Parkinson's disease. However, significant disparity between the studies of different scientists has limited their use in clinical practice nowadays. And accumulating evidence has shown that in the context of Parkinson's disease, there is a clear crosstalk between different and related forms of proteins, and one of it being tau protein, which can be abnormally hyperphosphorylated in the pathological constitution of Parkinson's disease. Many studies have shown that there is a of how hyperphosphorylation at the brain of the patients of Parkinson's disease. And studies also have shown that in vivo, in terms of in vivo, the increase of alpha-synuclein expression can trigger past hyperphosphorylation.
So studies has been made by many scientists on the CSF to study about the tau protein, and they have suggested that CSF tau levels are highly associated with cognitive impairment of Parkinson's disease patients. However, currently we have more than 80 potential phosphorylation sites for tau protein, and limited studies is available for detecting plasma tau protein, phosphorylated tau protein in the plasma. So the current objective of this study is to identify and then compare the pressure level of phosphorylated tau plasma in plasma of Parkinson's disease patients as compared to healthy individuals. The methodological factors is shown in this slide. First of all, we have to recruit the subjects and then perform a venous blood sampling for all the subjects and then perform mass spectrometry analysis to detect what are the phosphorylated sites and then to compare the relative abundance of it. After that, we have to validate these findings with a single molecular array, and then hopefully we are able to detect a phosphorylated tau in the patients of Parkinson's disease as compared to normal individuals. So the good spectrometry are shown in this slide. First of all, fraction. Second, with the young approach, we extract the plasma. It is a virus big antibody, and then after that, we'll digest the protein and perform a mass spectrometry. Here, and perform what are phosphorylation like. However, some proteins are not fully resolved. So hereby, we will run a quadruple on track to further resolve all the effects that are phosphorylated within the tau protein. And then here we compare the quantity of the whole change of the phosphorylated tau protein in healthy individuals as compared to Parkinson's disease and get the statistical analysis of the whole change of it. The significant whole change phosphorylated tau protein will be further validated with a single molecule array, in which this single molecule array is ultra-sensitive ELISA method, which surpass ELISA 1,000 times as it can sample up to cytogram per mil. So the basic of this test is that target analyte will be bind to the magnetic gate conjugated antibody, and the biomimetic antibody conjugated with the enzyme will bind to the tau protein, phosphorylated tau, and hereby substrate will be added, and then the substrate change color, and the color will be detected by the charge couple device camera. And that's all. So the expected results for this study is we are predicting that the phosphorylation profile of tau protein can be observed as comparing Parkinson's disease patients to healthy control. So phosphorylated tau can or might be a potential blood-based biomarker for Parkinson's disease diagnosis. The references. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very nice presentation. For question, your class. Any question? Question? You don't want to respond?
Don't know what to ask. Yes, so for Parkinson's disease, are there any other biomarkers?
Currently, the biomarkers that are available is alpha-synuclein. Actually, so actually Parkinson's disease is part under alpha-synuclein. So they are actually looking at alpha-synuclein for as a biomarker, but currently because the many studies have shown that have shown in this like many studies has already done alpha-synuclein levels between comparing the Parkinson's disease patient and healthy individuals. However, due to the limitation that I have already said in the presentation, the levels between CSF and plasma and serum are very different. So yeah, they cannot use this. Currently only this or another one is beta amyloid, which is also a protein. However, I have no slides for this video. Beta amyloid has also been effectively studied, and then another one is tau protein. Yeah.
So tau protein is only strictly for Parkinson, you have maybe also for Alzheimer's.
Yes, correct. Actually, tau-protein is used for Alzheimer's diagnosis. However, the phospho-related ones we have not known yet because different disease might have different phospho-related profiles. So in this case, I think maybe different type phospho-related profile might be seen in Parkinson's disease patient. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Hello everyone, my topic is identification of strong biomarkers of autosomal cell carcinoma. Using high multi-plate and AMTAMA-based proteomics. The OSCC is a life-threatening disease and among the 10 most common cancer types. And both staging anatomic, histological, critical, such as primary tumor size and lymph node metastasis size, and distant metastases are summarized in the TNM classification of the WHO, Unicode for every solid tumor entity. After the classification fails to predict the progress or aggressiveness of the disease or the response to the driven therapy. Because the standard is to see the tumor. So in a post-surgery stage, and after surgery remove the cancer, you can see the tumor. So we need another way to predict the progress about the disease. So we choose the SomaScan analysis. It's a new technology that can identify 11,000 protein analyses from 55 microliter samples, and it has been it has to identify some biomarkers of ALS and Alzheimer's disease. It's a SomaScan product.
Okay.
And about advantage and disadvantage. Advantage is because it can multiply and high accuracy, and it can wide the dynamic range, and it has a low cross hybridization. And about disadvantage, maybe has the proteins interference, and low technical translation rates because the rigorous standards of the application is very strict. About objective, I want to discriminate the prototypic profile of all safety patients and health control, and identify the protein difference expression expressed in all safety patients and health, and to identify significant pathway and biological mechanisms enriched significantly by the OSCC associated proteins. This is my approach. So there are three groups. One is the advanced OSCC patient, and one is the healthy control, and another one is the OSCC patient after surgery. So we choose the tumor with recruitment and postpone parities with the 3 to 6 months. And then we collect an graph and do the SomaScan. And then we do the bioinformatics and static analysis to try to find out what happened about the OCC patient and and notification after that, century. So we will get image. We can see how many protein upgraded and downgraded. And we also use the integrated pathway analysis. We can see those protein focus on the functions and the string analysis. We can build a function network. It means you can now solve for example, one function some protein uh, uh, to show one function. And then the PCA, we can measure and identify the cluster. Then if the two points is close, that means you can significantly identify the load. Next is the expected outcomes. We will find significant difference in the serial proteins. We'll find the likelihood discrimination between OCC and health control with accuracy. And furthermore, some patients biomarkers will detect and will significant also between pre and post restriction and zero. And some OCC associated protein reveal the true levels important for health control after restriction can be used to predict the progression and recurrence. And maybe we can identify some biomarkers not detectable before. And it's a migratory trials. Like I said before, when we collect the samples, we need to wait in the century and waiting 3 months to 6 months. So we need the 6 months to collect the sample. And in that time, we can do the SOMA scan design and reading some literature to determine experimental plan. And in the next month, we can do the GMAT and IP analysis, and then do strain and PT analysis, and then conclusion and writing report.
So, your classmate. Okay. I have one question. So, are you doing any vaccination for personal using blood, right?
Yeah.
Vaccination before the digestion and spectrometry. Vaccination, sample preparation, in the sample preparation for blood. Maybe you can get the root on, to that for serum and blood sample, you need to have before the digestion with the vaccines, we need to do some pre-vaccination of the blood and serum sample.
So you mean before the
Pre some approach. Pre and some approach. Remove the environment or enrich the environment.
so much scanning method is actually quite specific, so I think we don't need to do too much to
So I'm just wondering, you are, I'm not sure whether or I
This means that array we should know which protein we want to recognize.
you want to so
Yeah, because if this method is based on the mathematics actually. So you must know how many protein you want to detect. So you need to define your the SOMA scan for, and then you can see the signal. You can know how many the concentration in your blood.
Okay, okay. Yeah, because you treated the protein base, the biotin, within the after that, the digestion. Okay, okay. Okay, okay, thank you, thank you. Because I think it's quite a new approach.
Yeah, that will 20 years.
Yeah. What, how biomarker, what is the protein that you want to propose to be a diagnostic biomarker? What is the change you want to see that this is good to be a potential biomarker?
Also it detects your blood sample. So there are lots of protein you need to detect. So in actually the other articles, they may be hundred or yeah.
That's for the.
So there means that you those protein should be identified.
So you are looking for the highest protein.
Yeah.
For the potential biomarker.
So I use the method protein to detect a lot of the protein at the same time. And the 11,000 protein.
That's for the protein hits. But this one I for the content you really go for the protein between your patient, your control. So you can see regulated and down regulated.
Yes.
So the protein say that 100.
Yeah. Share. All right. Good evening to Chris, Unu, and Eugene, and other doctors in my friends. So today I'm going to talk about diagnosis of AMI, which is acute myocardial infarction using a combination of circular RNA created information based on machine learning. Right. So okay, so background of myocardial infarctions. Myocardial infarctions or heart attacks occurs when the blood supply to a part of the heart muscle is blocked. So for acute myocardial infarction, MI is suddenly blocked. So usually by blood clot. This blockage causes the death in the heart muscle cell, leading to hemodynamic deterioration and sudden death due to lack of oxygen and to supply the heart. Okay. Next. So according to the definition by the NIH, National Institute of Health, what is heart attack? It's heart attack is local cause of myocardial infarctions. So they stated that coronary artery disease is the main cause of heart attack. The less common cause is severe slumps and sudden concentration of the contraction of the coronary artery that can stop the flow to the heart muscle. And according to the finding of the Department of Statistics in Malaysia, isochemical disease heart attack is the most common causes of death back in 2020. We need to try to see what we The symptom of a heart attack, you might have experienced with chest pain and discomfort, shortness of breath, pain or discomfort in the jaw neck, and for females particularly, you may be feeling nauseous, lightheaded, and dizzy. So this is some of the other symptoms that can occur when you have a heart attack. So yeah, a few mild cardiac infarctions. The pathology of this is that the rupture of an atherosclerotic plate will shape an inflammatory response of monocyte and macrophages. So leading to a formation of thrombus, which is primarily that is your blood clot, and platelet aggregation. This together will create a formation of lymph node. So this process increase oxygen delivery through the coronary artery, resulting in the oxygenation of the myocardium, and the subsequent ATP produce ATP in mitochondria. So resulting in apoptosis of the endocardium or myocardium. So in AMI, actually, there's two categories. One can be stated non-ST segment elevation myocardial infarction. In short form, is SEMI, and ST segment elevation myocardial, which is SEMI. The difference of this is that is the complete either is happened. Sorry. The difference of this is that let me show you the next slide. Is that either it happens as complete blockage or partial blockage. So for semi-passive heart attack, that cause semi is passive heart attack, and SMI is intermediate form of its heart attack. So in one of the limitation of evaluating or diagnosing heart attack is that the common way is that we use ECG, cardiac biomarkers, or cardiac imaging. So what I want to point out is that limitation of those is that for ECG the sensitivity is relatively low, approximately 30%. Because some other medical conditions like pericarditis, myocarditis, and this pulmonary embolism can cause changes in the active segment, which is the primary parameter that used in ECG to detect heart attack. For other things that in other diagnosis method involved in lab is that you use a cardiac biomarker such as troponin, kinase, and LDH. These also can be low specificity, similar to ECG. They can be detected by other medical conditions leading to a false positive result. And last but not least is cardiac imaging. Cardiac imaging like PET scan. The limitation of it is that only it gives you anatomy information. So that's the question of today. How can we detect heart attack in very early stages? So these are other limitations I stated out. It's valuable in diagnosing, but yeah. So we can take a look at this. So what I propose today is that the tools to evaluate difficult diagnosis of AMI in the very early stages by using the combination of expression level of circulating RNA and clinical information based on the learning. So advantages of using circular RNA as a biomarker is that it has a highly stabilized circular structure, which is able to prevent it from isolate activity. And then also it's said to be stabilized because some researchers also tested it out and can incubate it temperature. Okay, so circular RNA can be other advantages that can be easily collected from blood, serum, and plasma. So said to be non-invasive for the collection of circular RNA, and also it's highly conserved and expressed in tissue, cell, and cellular stage specific mechanism response to this thing. And for machine learning is a subfield of AI that focuses on the development of algorithms and models enable computers to learn from data and make prediction of decisions. So these are the example of machine learning that's available to us right now. We have supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement. So this is the type of machine learning we can use. Okay, under this supervised learning, we have a regression method, classification. Under unsupervised, we have clustering. Yeah, and also there's one that's reinforcement learning. This one is, I haven't find out what it is yet. So yeah. But in my method, I want to propose that methodology is relatively simple. First of all, from literature review study, I find what's the relevant circular RNA we use and also KMI. So then we determine the expression level of this. After we identify which circular RNA that we want to use to study, we can determine the expression level of this relevant circular RNA by qPCR. So that will be used as the study subject in the third step. So we're constructing a prediction model using the relevant circular RNA. Okay, together with the clinical information by a statistical method or also. Later on, I will quickly introduce what Maslow. And last but not least, we will use a validation or to validate the result of prediction model to see whether the train or the prediction model align with the actual conditions of the real. So in the set of constructing prediction model, Lasso regression will be used to identify key features for predicting AMI. So some of the clinical information will include like age, gender, BMI, heart rate. Also together, we want to integrate the relevant RNA data to see whether it form a prediction model or not. And then the model construction, the logistic regression models will be built using different combination of features generated from the. And then for the validation of prediction model, RLC analysis will be against the new sample in validation model will be used to test the performance of the predictive model. So expected outcome in this project, we expect that the prediction model will show a strong relation result of the validation cohort. So in short, using a combination of circular RNAs together with prediction combination, we can provide more optimal prediction, especially in early stages. So I hope this approach can provide more accurate analysis in my questions. So this is some of the experiment that people used done before is that they use this circulating circular RNA and clinical observation based machine learning project. So we are hoping that we gain a similar accepted outcome like this. So from the first one, this bar from this histogram is this one is generated from the Lasso. Okay, so we can and then the second one is the RLC analysis curve. So for the parameters, RLC analysis curve, what we see is usually the area under the curve. So if the area under the curve is AUC more than is low, which means that this model has no meaning. But if the AUC and AUC is high, the maximum only can go to 1. So it means that it's a perfect number and estimate the function perfectly. Yeah, so that is what I want to propose today. So thank you.
Now, which thing? Yeah.
What is the parameter that you use for the
It's still
the clinical diagnostic?
is still what's the use in right now. Okay. So for now is typically it's troponin. Troponin is the most reliable one they use.
So by using the machine learning will be faster the turnaround time of the result.
Yes, the main thing I want to target here is early stage diagnosis. So some of these cardio biomarkers will not be able to express at a very early stage. Like this troponin or all of these are proteins and biological molecules. So you might not see relevant significant expression, elevation in your body. So this might give you a false positive result. You say that you might be more likely to predict the same.
So we have to couple the detection of circular RNA with the machine learning. Is it, so they have to couple these two together.
Yeah, I have to couple the RNA together with the clinical information of the patient in a machine learning level, operate this.
Will couple like this. When will the patient go and test for this? Is it when I have biomarker, I have only I will go to the test. Yeah.
You can open the
Have the circular RNA. This I don't go for lab test, but when should I go for this lab? Every year.
look, actually, circular RNA is also normally expressed in the body as well. Just that when we have when you're in the early stage of biokinetic function, you might see level of variation.
Sorry, I can suggest this tend to be done with force, yearly basis, but you know.
Yeah.
So it's not.
If you want to be safe, ensure that whether you are in, yeah. Sometimes it's better not to go out there. Yeah.
That shit like this.
You want to know or you don't want to know?
Looking back. Uh, Hello, everyone. I'm Sanaya Singh. Today I will present a research proposal about breast cancer detection. And from the topic, as you know, from the biomarker discovery and from the technology based, we all from the research that we reached to the level there is everything is advanced. But the breast cancer patient, they are not benefiting from the every kind of the advancement in the literature or in the science in the research space. So in this research, we are proposing an assay to develop an assay and also evaluating that assay for detecting the breast cancer patient in the early stage using molecular backgrounds to assess exosomal microRNA 1246 in plasma biopsies. First, microRNA, this biomarker discovery, the novel biomarker that have been discovered, and liquid biopsy that right now it's all focused on plasma or liquid biopsy and also molecular backgrounds. Okay. The introduction about, as I introduced my research proposal about breast cancer, liquid biopsy, and microRNA 1246. 46. Breast cancer is a significantly global health concern, necessarily for advancing non-invasive diagnostic methods because as we know the numbers of the breast cancer if you're increasing the incidence of the happening of the breast cancer is increasing right now it's about 25% for 23 and the mortality rate is about 15%. So in that case we need the non-invasive and easy and rapid detection of the breast cancer in early stage of the cancer development. Liquid biopsy, what's liquid biopsy? Why I brought this topic? Liquid biopsy is minimal invasive methods of sampling and analyzing blood or better tools to detect cancerous biomarkers. Right now, all the focus is about liquid biopsy because it helps to diagnose the biomarker that have been discovered.
So what about the background and limitation about the diagnosis method right now in the breast cancer? So limitation of current techniques, current diagnostic methods for breast cancer face various challenges, like including the invasiveness and accuracy. There is no accuracy and there is no sensitivity, and also like the it needs a lot of the times and cost effective, need a lot of cost to do the push biopsy and also like cervical biopsy or needle biopsy alongside after the patient being suspected by the ultrasound and mammography. So what about, so from the researcher, like we found out like the last week, they did the review article about reviewing the study about the microRNA 1246. They found that this one is showing the promise as a potential target for diagnosing breast cancer invasively by liquid biopsy. Why? Because they studied 29 studies about nearly 4,000 of the patients with the cancer, all the type of the cancer. They had this microRNA, exosomal microRNA. From another study, they found upregulating of this gene will affect the gene regulation of the oncogenesis. The research objective, firstly, like developing the assay, developing an innovative and reliable assay for the direct measurement of plasma exosomal microRNA by modified molecular weight in situ detection without pre-exosomal extraction. This is one of the shortage of the finding biomarkers and using it as a biomarker for diagnosing, because while doing the exosomal extraction, the low numbers of the microRNA, it wasn't like being counted at the end. So next step of the research, the second objective is about diagnostic evaluation. The assay that being developed without any technology, how you will be evaluate the safety, effectiveness and accuracy of that with the plasma from the patients. Methodology experimental design. Firstly, we have to design. We have to design the MB, molecular weight design, specifically for the exosomal microRNA 1246, and with a modified one. Why? I will explain that one. From the Sangong Biotech company from China, and assay development, as I mentioned, in situ. In situ, it means like just like collecting the sample from the patient and do directly without any like help with the devices, with the simplest devices only. Validation the process with the patients and implication of that assay that we will develop with the patients and with the normal sample or health controls. Assay development, first in situ detection, modified MB molecular weight. Why we are modifying this one? MBS and molecular weight one. As we know, it's a hairpin RNA oligonucleotide. Folks usually use it for the RT-PCR, and this idea came from the histochemistry in the tissue biopsy, that they didn't use this one for detecting the genetic material within the tissue. But as we know, the patient we are putting the patient in the risk of the injury and bleeding and infection. So we developed from the literature, we developed this method to do the plasma. So in the plasma, as we know, we have to design the NB to resist the nucleus material proteins within the plasma. So, designing the NB probe is stable against plasma nucleate prediction and avoid false positive findings, specifically designed for this microRNA. With adding methyl groups and phosphonucleotide group in the loop and STIP. This is basically on the Linux. This is they have done from 2011 and 2016, found out to resist the nucleus. Assay experiment. They suggested to use Triton X100 for easing and penetration the molecular weight to the exosomal. As you know, exosomal it's a protein based enclosed structures from the cells. And the experiment have been done on the MCF7 cell lines, the cancer cell, breast cancer cells, with the normal human cells. So after adding like Trixon 101% modified MB molecular weight to the they extract the exosome from the cells and then incubating for 1 hour with a molecular bacon, and then 30 minutes without molecular bacon to detect the fluorescence detection of the cell, of the exosomes of the microRNA that have been found by the molecular bacon. So first, like, they only use the super resolution microscope, fluorescent microscope, to detect the fluorescence of the molecular bacon, if it's touched the specific microRNA or not. And the measurement of the fluorescence, it's not only the modified one. They use the modified one, the normal one, with the presence of the DNAs and RNAs to optimize the quality and working capability of the modified one. Evaluation of the method. Firstly, collect the plasma sample from the breast cancer patient and healthy control, 30 patients and 30 healthy control. After they evaluated, they developed the assay, adding only 1% of the treatment X100. They found out this one 100%, mixing with the PBS and also 10 nanomolarity of the MBS modified one. With the plasma, only 30 microliter of the plasma is needed for doing this assay or detecting this biomarker in the patient sample. Incubation only for 14 minutes incubation, and then assessing the bacon light, the bacon, if there is like our biomarker, like microRNA 1246 in the sample in the patients, with the help of the fluorescence intensity, measuring the fluorescence intensity with the help of the multifunction microporous K detectors from the excitation and immersion weapon, 630 and 670 nanometers. And the result is going to be like that: normal plasma and patient plasma. The outcome is supposed to be like that. If the patients have the the microRNA, that biomarker, it's shown like that. And if there is no, it's going to be under the near to the zero. And the secondly, we have to do the receiver operating characteristic. This one to distinguish between the true positive and false positive of our test in between cancer patient without the normal health one. As we already mentioned it, under the 0.5, under the curve, it's not valid, it's not significant, it's false. Above that one and near to the 1, it's going to be valid and significant as a assay. The expected outcome and impact, advancing the diagnostic. This is going to be the outcome called the potential to advance non-invasive diagnostic technique for breast cancer, and cost-effective and rapidly done for any patients, and improve the patient experience. If successful, the assay will significantly improve early detection rates in 2 hours and monitoring capabilities of the patients. This is my reference that I have been using, and thank you so much. And question?
Thank you so much. Who are the so is that I'm saying
Yes.
We can use the RT-PCR to detect the biomarker.
This is one of the questions that I wanted to get. Why they try to develop this assay? Because microRNA, it's not secreted by the cell. So they found out that there is no validation when they are doing the anti-PCR or any kind of the extraction of exosome. Okay? When they are doing this extraction of the exosome, the amount of the microRNA to be validated using for validation work. So they thought about that method because it depends. There's a group of the researchers working this method. They worked, I think, from 2012 until now. They found it like step by step. This is the last one they worked on it. So they are saying like, okay. So this method came from the histochemistry that have been done with the corpus of fluorescent hybridization with the tissue. So instead of doing tissue biopsy. Nowadays, all the folks about liquid biopsy for cancer patients, they're only cancer patients, they are tired and they have all of that, side effects about the cancer. So they call liquid biopsy to help them and with the help of what? Biomarkers. So, like, as I mentioned, like this, we have liquid biopsy, we have biomarkers, and we have advanced treatment. But still, the patient doesn't get any benefit. So, from that, this say, the development say that rapid and extension without a lot of the, like the patient without invasive and bleeding and going under the surgical needs. So directly with only the plasma patients. And I think but I didn't mention that the plasma, as they developed this method, say the plasma before they added and multiplied the hormone, they have to treat with water. The plasma have to be treated with water. First, any idea?
Sorry again? Sorry again, you
I'm saying like this is the method that gives hopes to the patient to be detected early, but it has to be along the mammography and like breast X-ray, because as you know the first step is that one. So I'm saying like this is really hopeful things. You only have to collect the sample from the patient, the blood from liquid biopsy, the plasma. But before adding the motor bacon, you have to treat the plasma with something. Have you have any idea? What?
From additive.
Okay, additive. Okay, before that thing, this is like it's yes, perfect. It's an RNA protein. Why? Because as you know, one they were like they kind of they didn't choose any of the microRNA, only exosomal microRNA. This is the purpose because like the exosomal microRNA, exosome cannot be extracted that easily. So they use it exosomal microRNA as biomarker, and this the other one affects without any like side effect with the tissue biopsy. Treating the plasma with the proteinase K and LPS and also for the lipids and proteins and nuclease and RNAs to deactivate all these and then adding this one. And then with the help of the Triton 100X, with the help, this one helps the exosomal filtration, the proteins, because this one slices the protein submembrane of the membrane component of it. And we filter the molecule they come to bind to the microRNA inside the patient with the cancer. Yeah.
I think it's a very liberating answer. Thank you, Nana. I just I hope all of you when I serve memory like this. Okay, thank you so much.
For my this. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, give me that translation. Okay, answer the
Very good evening, everyone. My name is Kavita Janathiran. The mentor assigned to me was Dr. Venugopal. The topic of my presentation today is expression profiling of serum interleukin 6 levels in patients with myasthenia gravis by the CLIA method. So what is myasthenia gravis? It is a chronic autoimmune disease which often develops in women ages 20 to 40 and men ages 50 to 80. There are 700,000 people worldwide have this disease. Myasthenia gravis patients develop mostly a facial distortion, where you can see there are eyelid drooping of the corner of the mouth, they're mostly fatigue, they have weakness in the facial muscles, they have blurred and double vision, And also, they have difficulty in swallowing. And not only that, it will impact the respiratory muscles and limbs. This is caused by the production of autoantibodies against components of vital proteins at neuromuscular junctions of skeletal muscle. As you can see from the diagram, when the self-healing receptors are competitively inhibited by the autoantibodies, the neurotransmission could not happen successfully, so the muscle activation has been inhibited. These are the 5 subtypes of myasthenia gravis, which are acetylcholine receptor antibody POC, muscle-specific tyrosine kinase antibody POC, lipoprotein receptor protein 4 antibody POC, seronegative NG, and NG with thymoma. These are the current molecule studies that was done on NG that caught my attention, which are the high levels of serum interleukin 6 that was associated with the disease activity in acetylcholine receptor antibody positive NG patient. And this patient who went treatment exhibited lower levels of the cytokine, especially the interleukin 6. And another study, a recent study by Rose John, have published that the interleukin 6 can be inhibited by antagonistic substances. So I will briefly go through what is interleukin 6. As you can see here, the antigen-presenting cells present an acetylcholine receptor or muscle-specific tyrosine kinase to naive CD4 plus T cells. So interleukin 6 and other cytokines induce naive T cell differentiation into Th17 and follicular Th cells. So there will be this induces the inflammation at the neuromuscular junction mediated by the Th17 and activation of B cell mediated by the TSH cell to produce antibodies in myasthenia gravis. The platform that I chose to conduct my study is ECLIA, electroluminescent immunoassay. The principle behind this assay is it involves electroactive label molecule conjugated to analyte or antibody. So when voltage is applied, electrochemical reaction occurs at the electrode surface, and the reaction induces energy transfer to the electroactive molecule. It will excite it to a higher energy state. As it returns to the ground state, light is emitted. So the intensity of the light emitted is proportional to the concentration of the target molecule. This platform has many advantages. That's why I'm choosing this platform, because it's highly sensitive, it has rapid result, it is highly precise, and reproducibility is high, and the automation allows high throughput analysis. My problem statement here is the highly elevated interleukin 6 level in acetylcholine receptor antibody positive NG finding is similar to all other types of NG and potentially be a global biomarker for NG diagnosis and therapeutic target, or only a specific biomarker for acetylcholine antibody positive NG. Objective of my study is to evaluate serum interleukin 6 level as a biomarker of patients with myasthenia gravis. The methodology of my study is quantitative determination of interleukin 6 serum level based on non-competitive sandwich principle by electrochemiluminescent immunoassay. A biogenerated monoclonal interleukin 6 specific antibody and interleukin 6 in sample will bind together, and following the next incubation step with septamine-coated microparticle and a monoclonal interleukin 6 specific antibody that is labeled with the deuterium will form a complex. So the bound complex will emit the ECL signal, electrochemiluminescent signal. This is a flowchart of my study. I proposed 100 patients, which comprise all the 5 subtypes of NG. I exclude those who are undergoing immunosuppressive therapy, including steroids at the time of blood sampling. On the other hand, my healthy cohorts will be the age-matched control, which include the non-inflammatory neurological diseases such as spinal cerebral degeneration, Parkinson's syndrome, involuntary movement, dementia, and vitamin B deficiency. So the sample will be collected in a plain tube, allowed to plot at room temperature, and proceed with centrifuging at 300 RPM for 15 minutes. So the separated serum will be stored at -80 degrees until further analysis. On the day of testing, the sample will be thawed, and I will run the sample using automated Cobas E801 by Roche Diagnostics from Germany using the interleukin 6 assay. Serum interleukin 6 level will be further analyzed using the statistical analysis. My expected outcome from this study is interleukin 6 significantly elevated in NG patients compared to healthy control. So interleukin 6 is a potential biomarker for all subtypes of NG. Or on the other hand, if it's only found to be highly elevated in acetylcholine receptor antibody positive NG patient, it is a specific biomarker for this subtype of NG. This is my gun chart. I propose a 1-year study where I will hope to finish in December if I start in January.
So you don't do this, huh? The presentation.
Dr. Brain, we had a few sessions, apart from face-to-face, we had some WebEx meeting. Thank you so much.
So what's the significant like difference between this using ECLIA and also ELISA?
ELISA, okay, the difference is, ECLIA involves an electrolytic level molecule. So when it is, we don't need additional interference from other substance. When we use ELISA method, there could be interference from other substance that could affect our result. With this, when the label molecule has been when the voltage is applied, so only the bound labeled molecule, the sandwich, the labeled molecule with the analyte will emit the light.
Okay.
It is more highly sensitive. It can detect even low concentration. That's why I prefer this than the normal ELISA method.
But there's also a ammunition based ELISA as well. That also require it's also that also require not adding too much substance inside.
Yes, but that one requires a trigger and the trigger. So the quenching effect could have some interference in our final reading. So to eliminate all this, I prefer, one of the choice platform I choose is this method. And actually the most important part is this instrument is available here in Penang. So yeah, so I feel like why not utilize the instrument and
This, I see, what are the other biomarkers?
So actually, sorry, for diagnosis purpose, we have used the acetylcholine receptor antibody. So they detect that antibody to diagnose this patient. But there are some patients who don't show positive antibody reaction. But that doesn't mean they are not NG. So with this interleukin, if it's a potential global biomarker, then we can avoid misdiagnosis of the patient.
So we look at because nice right.
Yes, Korean.
EMDM.
Yeah.
Participation, participation to along with the screen. Okay. Okay. My presentation, I talk with the specific the animals found in some area in some country in the Middle East. The animal cell snake bite is one snake is very dangerous. Causes the animals more people in India and south of the earth.
proteomic extractive prototoxicity in snake fiber using the model TIFL. A snake fiber is contain the protein. The protein play role, the key effect in the snake fiber, the interaction with the specific organism and tissue. This film interaction with the body, this film specific of the snake, interaction with the body causes the bleeding, causes the hard stop after the beating the snake. Because the not diagnosis the protein venom, the protein toxicity, the doctor found in hospital not found some idea about the treatment. Because when people beating of the snake come in hospital, the doctor not found any idea about of the snake, and not found any idea about of the types of the snake. Already take the treatment. This the treatment found a snake not toxicity. This the treatment caused some disease. As one of the disease causes the treatment, autoimmune disease, other some disease, heart disease. A problem statement relation of the study. This protein toxicity not found more study because this a problem because some students not study the protein, not study the cell snake fiber because the cell snake fiber is very dangerous. The student objective identify a protein toxicity related a protein cell snake fiber venom in human in blood snake baiting fiber. Exegol associated pathway and current identify a protein with the venom content. Methodology. Collection blood sample for a snake baiting patient, 3 patients. As extraction a protein for patient sample, right? And then 2-dimension electrophoresis and dual diagnosis and dual digestion using mass medial of the proteomic analysis, function ontology of the pathway analysis. Excessive autocom. Identify the phenome of protein in patient in blood sample. Identify the prototoxicity related to protein gene pathway. This is very important point because I need some information about the protein. I need diagnosis the protein after the take the treatment the patient. Already mentioned the problem found because the not have any idea the doctor about the protein take the treatment the patient the treatment causes the some problem after the take treatment. Okay, thank you. Question? So snake bite. So snake bite. Yes. The South snake bite, the animals by the climate change effect, the temperature, the different the venom between of the country. in my time, we found the area south of the Iraq, we called the Sayyidatir. The 6,000 people died about for the 30 years because the snake already found the treatment, but because the different because the effect the snake by the climate change, by the mutation. This mistake not found the more study about the snake venom or about the protein toxicity.
Going to use the stick from different countries.
When a problem found in hospital, the not all snake, not all snake toxicity, not all snake. There's some snake toxicity, but the influencer found the tail snake as the very toxicity. You know, years dying people because the toxicity. The surface snake is very important in environmental because the feeding the other the mouse and the other organ animals. Okay.
What downstream investigation you want to find out this polio toxicity?
After we
Yeah, what is the what?
But what we want really, what's the protein that
Yeah, yeah. So what do you want to try to find out?
not found any diagnostic the patient after breathing. This shows it died the patient. Not found now. I'm talking with the doctor about can make the rapid test. Use the diagnosis the patient after the snake biting. Not found any diagnosis because the snake venom the patient need between 2 and 10 hours take the treatment. After the patient, this need another treatment after beating the snake.
Okay.
Any question?
okay.
And they about the discovery of diagnostic markers in diabetic nephropathy using urinary techniques. Also, these are the contents. The introduction, diagnostic methods, problem of study, this rationale of the study of expected outcome. So we all know about diabetes, but are we aware about its complication because of the diabetes? One of them is diabetic nephropathy. So, as I said, the complication of diabetes. It is characterized by the persistent albuminuria, decline in the renal function, or glomerular restriction rate,
elevated blood pressures and lesions in glomerular ruler. It affects almost 50% of the patients who are with diabetes, and it is also the leading cause of end-stage renal disease, which means like when the so this is the end stage of it, which is this stage is some function, and then like the cannot meet our bodies cannot meet its like the electrolytes and its basic fluids. So at the moment, it is estimated that 420 people are with diabetes, and by 2040, it is estimated to increase to 650 million people with diabetes. So, with the increase in diabetes, it is obvious that these cases is also going to increase. And the good thing about this is that like this, its prevalence is more in the developing countries. So, so when you study your blood vessels, what is the, it damages the, we have tiny blood capillaries in our kidney. So when this high blood damages these capillaries, and over time, this damage disrupts the function of kidney due to nephropathy. Current diagnosis methods at the moment, it's urine test, which is routinely used in the clinics, blood test, kidney biopsy, and imaging. So, for the urine sample, urine sample, and test for albumin. Protein albumin it's normally present in blood, and it does not get filtered out. But if your kidney is not working, then it's there. So another one is blood. In blood, it is for creatine, and then which they also calculate the glomerular filtration rate, and then biopsy, we take the and then imaging, use the imaging to see the size and structure of the kidney. So, talking of the statements, however, there are lots of limitations to this test. For urine test, it gives false positive. So, this albumin protein is not just present in this, it is also found in other cases such as UTI. So, a study stated that or reported that there was a false positive of 42% with UTI. And then another study also reported that the sensitivity of this urine test was only 81%. So, there is a false positive. And another thing is, there are albumin increases in some cases, the albumin are present in so when it is present in this, cells cannot detect this protein, so which gives false negative result. And also there have been cases reported where there is no albumin present, but the disease is there. So it does not always detect the albumin. But for the blood test, it measures the creatine. This level of creatine in the serum is by other than the infections such as like age, gender, medication, diet, regular exercise, if you're dehydrated, and so on. So there's also limitation to this. And then biopsy is invasive and it cannot be performed routinely. And also, it just you only take a section of the kidney. And then imaging, though we can see the size and the structure, it does not really tell us like what's the cause of every disease. So these are the limitations that we have to overcome. Objectives: to collect the urine samples, to isolate and identify exosomes, to extract and quantify identical proteins, and then to isolate the proteins, to identify the proteins, and to validate. So, why exosomes? Exosomes are small vessels that are secondary cells, and they play a role in like intercellular communication, and also they like can be different
such as proteins, DNA, RNA, etc. And they also can reflect the cellular content of the tissue that they originate from. So, in this case, if there's a change in this exosomal contents or proteins in the early stages, then we can use that and use it to detect the diabetic nephropathy at the early stage. Because at the moment, we don't have the test to detect it at the early stage. Most of the times, the things are getting worse by the time they discover it. So, rationale of the study is, despite the advancement in the understanding of diabetic nephropathy, like we have done pretty good understanding and all, but still there are limitations to how we detect them. So this study seeks to fill the gap by identifying biomarkers in urinary endocrine proteins, offering the potential for early detection and improve risk stratification. This is the flowchart of my methodology. So first, the study design, so this control study, and then the exclusion, using exclusion and inclusion criteria, the patients and the health results are selected. When sample is spot unit sample is collected, and then exosomes are collected, then identified using translucent electron microscope and nanoparticle tracking analysis. Then after that, protein is extracted from the exosome buffer. Then quantification is done with the assay. After that, it's done into the SAS page, and then the proteins are compared between the healthy and the disease patient. Like using a dye, which is called massive brilliant blue. After that, the different proteins are taken and then analyzed using Magneto, and then it's further analyzed using master search, and then validated using can be validated using either ELISA or CDR. So the expected outcome is the identification of exosome proteins to diagnose which will help to better understand the pathogenesis of diabetic nephropathy, and then eventually to identify potential therapeutic agents for diabetic nephropathy. Thank you. It was a suggestion and okay. Thank you so much for thanks feedback for access to patient. This is my first in base. So I want for exercise, that exercise is very fun. It's so late. Right. So when usually whenever Susan taught me, so anything but what the potential and what the more highlight the episode that make you want to put your biomarker. So at the moment, studies like most of the studies have been done with this discoveries have already been done in in stuff, but the external it is a kind of so people are more it's a new yeah, no.
Any specific be in my biological molecule. Is there any specific?
And it is something. So no specific.
So
So I'm just thinking when we are doing like the midnight balance that, it's a separate from black lipids. You maybe, so, pre-treatment, analyze the protein from the minor.
Well, the points, the processes similar. Like for the acetone isolation method, ultra-centrifugation. So this is a different kind of technique compared to other like used compared to other extraction of other molecules. So yeah, so the isolation is similar to other processes like you have to it's from the and then extract the protein. So once the protein is extracted, this protein is actually similar to the other proteins that we have used to. So they then
We still need pre-treatment of the urine to get out of that.
yeah, yes. Yeah, to take out you have to yeah, we cover.
So it's not just like, pregnancy test with you.
Yeah, cover.
but but you said that you can validate things like so but if there's no any specific protein you're making this patient, how do you validate this?
So you first extract it, you can address take a urine sample. Extract the analyzer.
And
So this validation is you have to run several. It's like you first extract. You will need to this take blood and other validation. So you have to first extract the blood sample.
I mean, my question is very why this only you can analyze that and confirm that present of
You found the normal one, then you validate, then you like,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry?
Everybody.
patient, looking with biomarker discovery. Producer to identify single biomarkers and also address tuberculosis, dilation, permeability, and mass spectrometry. Introduction, also articular tuberculosis. The common diseases that affects the bone and joint. Symptoms of osteoarticular tuberculosis include persistent joint pain, swelling, limited mobility, discomfort during movement. Some symptoms such as fatigue and recalls and detection of these symptoms is crucial for timely intervention, as delayed diagnosis may lead to irreversible joint damage and functional impairment. So the problem statement of this limitation of current diagnostic methods lead to misdiagnosis, affecting treatment and prognosis. The rationale is grounded in the critical need for advanced diagnostics, specifically for osteoarticular TB, to the identification of serial protein biomarkers. The proposed research for potential to enhance diagnostic efficiency, contributing understanding of this damaging form of TB, but also heightens the need for end-to-end and rapid diagnostic methods. Not many researchers focuses on the objectives first is to collect serum samples from patients and control patients. Second is to identify potential serum protein biomarkers by LC-MS. Next is to validate the clinically expressed proteins by bioinformatic analysis methodology. First is to collect the sample taken by serum and data. First is TB, next is disease control and health control. Then the percent between 95 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes. Next would be putting out. Next one would be washing, digestion, and drying. Next is proteomic analysis, that is the bioinformatic analysis by differentially expressed or differentially expressed proteins by analysis like pathways, API, string. Next would be statistical analysis by hidden details and between details. Next, combination of by DISA. So the expected outcomes assist proteins, which would be identification of wide range of serial protein of osteoarticular tuberculosis. Next would be identification of differentially expressed proteins, overlapping and identify proteins with the validation. This is the venture. Other patients with me.
This is about biomarker of TB.
So it is only a specific form of type of actually.
Osteoarticular tuberculosis.
So, what is the sort of current diagnostic method? Microscope. Okay. You want to change the molecular base, like
He wants to use the protein number.
yeah.
Again,
So you're avoiding to use the protein-based biomarker, right, compared to the microscopy.
because there's a diagnosis with this condition. And it's the diagnosis.
From the blood or the sputum.
那我快点结束。
懂你。想要辅导吗？你少了你后分星期五只有我。对。
你什么时候什么说说？
你们考完
对。你去哪一组？我去本科。
啥？啊？我打错了，08。
让我猜问。
Hello everyone, my topic is using macro array to find the transcriptome, biomarker of melanoma progression and prognosis. Sorry. Melanoma, also known as malignant melanoma, is a type of cancer that develops from the ligament producing cells known as melanocytes. Melanocytes. Melanoma topical occur in the skin, but may rarely occur in the mouth, intestines, or eye. The primary cause of melanoma is ultraviolet light exposure. In those with low levels of skin pigment melanin. The incidence of melanoma continues to increase, and the fatality rate is extremely high. Confirmation of clinical diagnosis is accomplished by seeing biopsy. This is often accompanied by more extensive scarring or tumor removal. Because melanoma has a poor prognosis due to widespread metastasis and is often resistant to chemotherapy and immunotherapy, and the pathogenesis of melanoma is unclear. Independent prognostic features are few. So I want to discover biomarker that could shed light on melanoma progression and prognosis. First, extract total burn rate from cells or tissues. Second, reverse transcriptase is used to convert RNA into cDNA, and the cDNA is labeled with a fluorescent marker. Third, hybridize the leopard DNA to the pre-designed microarray. This trip has many different groups. Each corresponding to a specific gene or transcript. Then use a scanner to scan the chip and to obtain the fluorescence signal in intensity on each probe. Finally, special software is used to perform data analysis on the skin results, and we can use other detection methods such as PCR to verify the results. About expected outcome, we discovered significantly upregulated novel genes. The transcription factor HMGA2, it is significant related to survival rate. This is my Gantt chart. Thank you everyone for listening.
So, the principle of your is the microarray. Can you get
知道了。
Okay, that's another one. So, one this is to find the biomarker.
这个啥？我也不知道我该选哪，我随便选的呀。How do you believe in important? to feel very manageable.
It's go back and more popular something, and then you will understand, and then the principle of reason. We have to know so that you can understand. I think that's all.
Yeah. 这个好一点，
我死哪停止啊？
On the
除了
the stay on the exam.
Okay. Not when, okay, these are all the presentation, slide forward to the app. And then, and then you talk about the possible map by 29. And also, this is the last task for the done with me. Time report done with me. Okay, and then what the you please don't waste water.
You already know about that.
They mentioned about the assessment of the
And what?
assessment of the
Okay.
See you on,
我从哪儿取消比赛？
This doesn't come with here. Doesn't come with here.
已经取消了。